What if I told you that walking into your own bank could land you in handcuffs? That depositing legitimate money could make you a criminal suspect? This is the story of how one moment of prejudice spiraled into a public reckoning that exposed uncomfortable truths about assumptions, bias, and what happens when someone finally speaks up. Before we dive in, drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from around the world, and if this story resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. Marcus Williams had one simple task that Friday afternoon in Toledo, Ohio. Take a $10,000 cashier's check to his longtime bank and make a deposit. Nothing complicated, nothing suspicious, just a routine banking transaction that should have taken 5 minutes. The check represented something deeply personal, the sale of his deceased father's 1978 Buick Regal. For months, that car had sat in Marcus's garage, a painful reminder of loss. Finally deciding to let it go, he sold it to a local collector, planning to use the money for his young niece's college fund. At 38, Marcus was the picture of responsibility. A warehouse supervisor for over a decade, he managed 20 employees with respect and fairness. His modest home near Detroit Avenue was always open to family, especially his sister and her 10-year-old daughter Kayla, who looked up to her uncle like a hero. But as Marcus parked outside the Fifth Third Bank branch he'd used for 11 years, he had no idea that this routine deposit would become anything but routine. The bank buzzed with typical Friday afternoon activity. Marcus waited patiently in line, nodding politely at the security guard, the same one who'd seen him dozens of times before. When his turn came, he approached teller Janet Lewis with the same calm demeanor that had served him well his entire life. "I'd like to deposit this check," Marcus said simply, sliding the envelope across the counter. Janet's expression changed the moment she saw the amount. $10,000. Her eyes darted between the check and Marcus, then lingered just a little too long. The kind of look that makes your stomach tighten, even when you've done nothing wrong. "Do you have an account with us?" she asked, despite his 11-year history with the branch. After providing his ID, Marcus watched Janet's discomfort grow. She whispered to the branch manager, their furtive glances making it clear something was wrong. When the manager approached asking about the check's origin, Marcus explained honestly about his father's car sale. But honesty wasn't enough. That's when Marcus noticed Janet's hand move beneath her desk, a small, discreet motion that every black man in America recognizes with dread. The silent alarm button. Before any verification, before any investigation, before giving him a chance to prove his legitimacy, they had made their decision. The sirens were already on their way. When 3 police officers burst through the bank doors, the entire atmosphere shifted. Conversations stopped. Eyes turned. The everyday banking routine became a spectacle, with Marcus at its center. "Step away from the counter," the lead officer commanded. Marcus raised his hand slightly, keeping his voice calm despite his racing heart. "Officer, what seems to be the problem?" "I'm just trying to deposit a check." But calm wasn't enough. Before he could explain further, cold metal cuffs clicked around his wrists. The sound echoed through the silent bank as customers stared, some recording, others whispering speculation about what he must have done. "This is a legitimate cashier's check," Marcus said, his dignity intact even as his freedom was stripped away. "From selling my father's car. I have all the documentation." The bank staff who had triggered this circus now stood silent, offering no defense, no explanation, just uncomfortable shifting as their assumptions played out in real time. As officers prepared to drag him away, Marcus made a choice. Instead of accepting this injustice quietly, he spoke, not in anger, but with the measured power of absolute truth. "You can check my account history right now," he told the officers. 11 years of clean deposits. "You can call the buyer, his information is in my car. But you've already decided I'm guilty, haven't you?" His words cut through the tension like a blade. The crowd outside the bank grew restless as Marcus continued, "This isn't about the check. This is about me walking in here with money and you assuming I don't deserve to have it. One officer, younger, more thoughtful, actually listened. He examined the check closely, noting its legitimate watermarks and proper formatting. When they retrieved the bill of sale from Marcus's car, everything checked out exactly as he'd said. The check was real. The sale was documented. Marcus had been telling the truth from the very beginning. As the handcuffs came off, Marcus didn't celebrate. He stood there, rubbing the red marks on his wrists, and delivered words that would haunt everyone present. You see what just happened here? I walked in like any other customer with legitimate money, and before you even tried to verify it, you called the police. You treated me like I didn't belong here, like I couldn't possibly have earned what was mine. The silence that followed was deafening. Bank staff avoided eye contact. Officers shuffled uncomfortably. The watching crowd began to understand they had witnessed something profound, not just an injustice, but its public exposure. Marcus turned to a young boy who had been watching the entire scene unfold. Don't ever let anyone tell you that your worth depends on how they see you, he said gently. You work hard, you do right, and you have just as much right to be here as anybody else. As Marcus drove away that day, his father's memory had been honored in an unexpected way. Not just through the college fund he'd planned, but through a moment of truth that forced uncomfortable conversations about bias, assumption, and institutional prejudice. The bank lost a customer. The officers learned a lesson. And everyone who witnessed it was reminded that sometimes the most powerful response to injustice isn't rage or revenge, it's simply speaking truth with unshakable dignity. Marcus's story proves that while we can't control how others see us, we can control how we respond. And sometimes, one person's courage to speak up can change everything. What would you have done in Marcus's situation? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that matter.